Oil crossed $90 a barrel as the US-Iran conflict kept energy markets on edge, then eased back as diplomatic signals emerged from Tehran, rippling across metals, Forex, and equities in today's session. Coming up, a full evening wrap across metals, equity indices, crypto, energy, and Forex, covering silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the Dow, and more. There's a heavy weight on the calendar to flag before the open tomorrow, so stay with us for the full symbol-by-symbol read. This is ForexBullion's Monday evening market brief. Brent crude briefly crossed $90 on the back of the ongoing US-Iran conflict before retreating as Iran's foreign ministry signaled that diplomatic channels remain open, pulling some of the risk premium out of energy markets. European equities bounced on the pullback in oil prices, while Eurozone yields climbed as the spike in energy costs stoked expectations for a more hawkish stance from the European Central Bank. Gold remained under pressure as elevated inflation and rate hike risks tied to the Gulf crisis continued to weigh on the metal, and the Indian rupee slid to a 2-month low as the country's crude import bill surged sharply. Sterling edged modestly higher, while the euro and dollar both paused ahead of upcoming central bank meetings. And the key events to watch on the calendar are Canadian CPI and New Zealand CPI. Silver closed the session on the back foot, with the strong bearish structure that has been in place continuing to weigh on price. The trend points firmly lower, and with momentum remaining on the downside, the path of least resistance stays toward lower levels while this structure holds. ORCL finished the day under pressure, extending a strong bearish trend that has kept sellers firmly in charge across recent sessions. Price action suggests the market is more likely to probe lower levels as long as that dominant structure remains intact. Coinbase tracked broader crypto weakness through the session, with the strong bearish trend reinforcing a lean toward lower levels. The structure shows little sign of reversal, keeping the probable path pointed downward. Visa stood out on the equity side, with a strong bullish trend carrying price through the session and the market finishing in constructive shape. The trend leans higher, and the structure supports the view that price is more likely to reach for higher levels while this setup holds. Bitcoin drifted lower through Monday's session, with a bearish trend keeping upside attempts contained. The market appears more likely to continue toward lower levels while this structure remains in place. US crude oil had a volatile session, spiking higher on Gulf tensions before retreating as diplomatic signals emerged from Tehran. Yet the mild, bullish trend remains the underlying structure. The market has held its footing, and the probable path continues to favor higher levels on a broader view. The US dollar against the Canadian dollar faces a conflicting setup, with a mild bullish trend on the chart, but the probable path pointing lower, a dynamic worth watching closely as Canadian CPI data comes due. Price action through the session reflected that uncertainty, and the market may lean toward lower levels if the broader structure gives way. The Dow closed Monday's session with a mild bearish lean, unable to shake the headwinds from energy cost concerns and rate expectations feeding through from the Gulf situation. The trend tilts lower, and the market looks more likely to edge toward lower levels while sellers maintain the upper hand. Ethereum ended the session with a mild bearish trend intact, tracking the broader weakness across crypto markets. The structure suggests the path of least resistance remains toward lower levels until price shows a meaningful shift in momentum. That wraps ForexBullion's Monday evening market brief. If this analysis added value to your session, hit subscribe so you never miss a daily wrap. This is general market information for educational purposes only, not financial advice.